So when everything go back to the original nature, what we call the black hole or whatever it is. So still the space is here. No? Space is here. That is what that comes.
That is the Purusha. That's the Purusha. The witness is the Purusha.
But again, where is the God then? Where is the God? God.
God is an idea.
It's an energy.
God is an idea. But there is intelligence. Intelligence in the sense that, some particles have come here, originated to some base, maybe like waves or particles. And then there is an inherent tendency, when two things are there, there is a tendency to come closer and closer and establish a connection and a union, which is there in human mind also. You see something beautiful, you go near it and then you become one. Maybe you end up in disaster. And this possibility is working. So the idea of union and separation are two basic ideas or temptations which is there in the intelligence. So when so far you are separate, you wanted to unite. When you are united, you wanted to get away. Because when you come closer, many of the things which you hold in your mind is not there. So as we are projecting ourselves in what we are seeing, and you feel fascinated by projecting your idea based on some small ideations, you project on it and you feel that this is so great. You don't know anything about it. But you assume by beautiful things, you project on something, somebody or some object or something, and then you come closer and closer to it to verify and to become one, and you establish oneness. Maybe after a few days you understand that this is not what I thought of. And then the tendency comes to separate because it becomes miserable. So likewise, because we are also created by the basic unit of existence, which is particles or atom as one single unit. And it came and then we are here. And this tendency is there in our mind. And then the coherence is there, that the inner core is not leaving. If you wanted to go, you cannot go. If you go with sadness. There is an in-pull and a centrifugal force, centripetal force is there in everything when it moves in circles. Energy moves in circles, like in a wavelar form. And so, correspondingly, we see this is our tendency, this is the tendency of atoms. In the basic unit of existence, these tendencies are there. Now we are a form with mind having all the tendency, unite, separate. And then he named it as yoga, the tendency to become one, because the mind wants to establish oneness with everything, which it feels good. And we come closer, we communicate, we become one. And then when the convenience or the joy is not coming, why should you be there? You can separate. You go away. When we go away, because we get puzzled, because there is where you cannot be comfortable in a condition where you are separated, you are alone, and then all the things that we have done in our life will be put to question. It's a very, very, very particular time where a person is digging into the past to find where the mistake has happened. It's a lot of things, and like trying to understand. And in that digging, maybe you understand something based on your intellect and your past experience, you synthesize something. And then based on that, you model your life. But still the tendency, which is a basic tendency of getting united, is there as a basic thing because it is the base of the universe. And it goes on. So by looking all these things, we can see union is something which is existing here. Everything wants to establish union. A drop of water that comes from the sea by the sun is flowing everywhere, traveling all over the world, and then when it ascends to a certain level, it gets condensed, it becomes snow, and it starts to melt from there. It starts to percolate through the hills and then comes down. A lot goes inside the earth, and then that is taken by the trees, and then by evaporating it, it goes into the world, converted and goes into the world. And again, the whole cycle happens. And finally, it is going to find the source from where it came, which is the sea. It runs, drops, streams, and rivers, and then finally get into the source. So this is how we are seeing everything. This is union. The tendency of union is there. Everything. And also our system, when you look, you take input from the world, like through the senses we take a lot of information, you put it in the mind, you synthesize it, you make knowledge out of it, and the knowledge you cannot hold by yourself, and you want to share it. It is coming out of you, and it goes to the world. It comes back to you refined. And so you can see circles, both the physical and psychological things are following the cyclical movement all the time. This is how it is working. So this idea of yoga is actually a basic idea which Patanjali and Tirumoolar, contemporaries, they looked at the same time. Maybe they might have a common master because both came from the same place, Chidambaram. One is well versed in Tamil literature, who he did his book of yoga in Tamil. The other is well versed in Sanskrit, so he has written the principles in Sanskrit, Yoga Sutra and Tirumandira. So all these principles are working. That I will take it up as we proceed. So this is the base from where the yoga philosophy came. And here two things, Prakriti and Purusha, the idea of union is there already because all these things go back and into the Mula Prakriti and rest as Mula Prakriti. There is union. But the union between Prakriti and Purusha was not written. So union going back and resting there. And then there is something more to be explored, that is between them, whether there is some interaction or there is something. The base is there because in Sankhya the master says Prakriti and Purusha works in collaboration. And that is like a blind man and a lame man working together. They support each other, though they are not involved between each other. But the idea, the example which is proposed by Ishvara Krishna, who is the known commentator, the first commentary, says so.